And she says she been ready. Has she
I'm
been?
ready. Once again, it's on.
I don't know. But we up in here. We up in here.
Here's the thing. The podcast is always starting in the middle of us having a conversation. And it just be so silly because I was just telling her that I was born ready because I'm always ready because I'm ready.
No comment.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Love You to Life podcast. We are so excited that you are here today. And let me tell you something. I am hyped about our conversation.
Y'all, I hope y'all listen. I hope everybody that's listening today is ready because when I tell you like somebody's on 10, you know what I mean when I say somebody's on 10. She's on 10, 10, 10, 10.
Let me tell you something. It's hot fire. Okay, all right. So listen, here's what happened. We went a whole different direction than what we originally had planned on for this podcast because something fun happened. I made a simple little 7-second post, a reel on TikTok, and that mug went viral. And I just, you know, one of the things is you never know when something you're sharing with people is going to really impact them, really be powerful, really be resonant with them. And this happened to be one of those ones. So here's what I said. I said, do y'all know why I take my breaks? I take my breaks because rested women make richer decisions. And again, it's like a 7-second little something or other, just sharing with you what I live by, how I help my clients, things like that. And I tell you right now, I mean, as of like, we're at 48 hours, maybe 72 hours of that post being live. And I'm at like 300,000 views, um, 80,000 likes or something, and wonderful comments. So everybody who commented and either shared why it was important to you or how you have reached those conclusions in your life, thank you so much. It
And
was
y'all,
just
she's not only reading the comments, but she's like responding to them.
I'm responding. I think I've responded to every single comment, and I don't even want to tell you how many comments there are. But and by response, some people are getting words, some people are getting emojis. But I wanted to stop and pause where I could and say thank you for your engagement. Thank you for sharing whatever is happening with you in this moment, and I just appreciate it so much. So because of that, because of so much conversation in the comment section, we wanted to make sure that we just started, just had a conversation about that on the podcast. Let's just go ahead and bring it to our Love You to Life podcast community and get going. So when I say rested women make richer decisions, what I'm talking about is being able to make a decision out of ease and not exhaustion,
Mm-hmm.
out of thriving and not survival mode, out of a place of peacefulness and not a place of pressure. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
makes fun of me all the time because y'all know I like alliterations when the words match. Peace, pressure, ease, exhaustion, whatever. It works. It's my thing. I like
Mm-hmm.
it. But that's how you get to make richer decisions. And
Right.
one of the things I'm really gonna love, Cal, is when we get to define what we're talking about for rich, because it's
Mm-hmm.
more than one way of looking at that word, and I'm super excited
Absolutely.
about that too. Um, so I think what I realized was on my journey to becoming who I am now and who I endeavor to be in the future, I
Right.
went through a process of learning how to rest and then
Mm-hmm.
understanding that I was getting richer decisions. Would you say the
Right.
same thing, Paula?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think, well, here's first of all, part of why I think this really has resonated with so many people is that people are realizing that the way we were raised and like the status quo of hustle, grind, go harder, do more, sleepers for suckers,
Mm,
don't be lazy, all those kind of motifs, we've been doing that. Like it's like
correct.
we've done
Correct.
that for so
Mhm.
long and we
Mhm.
are tired, broke, and unhealthy. So I
Mhm.
think there's this whole like population of people and, there's literally over 250,000 people for sure that are saying like, "You know what? Maybe rest is something that I should consider."
Right.
And I always tell the story, like, when my oldest daughter, anytime I would take a nap, she would be like, "Are you pregnant?" Because that's the only time she remembers me during her childhood taking a nap. And that's so stupid because, sometimes you raising kids, you sick, I mean, like, you obviously, there was other times when I was tired, but I wasn't making intentional decisions to rest, and I do think, and I've said this too, like, I do think that that impacted who I was as a wife at the time, who I was as a mom at the time.
Mhm.
I do know for sure in this day and age, a rested decision is richer on all fronts. That I know
And
for sure.
and that's really what I wanna make sure we're talking about for sure is all the fronts,
Right.
right? And the other thing I wanna bring up here too is that when we're talking about rested, it does not mean that you have to be tired to slow down
Mm,
or to pause. We are saying that being rested is a part of your process. That being
right.
rested is part of the way you live. It is a strategy for how you are becoming who you are becoming. And I had to reach these conclusions many times in my journey personally,
Mhm.
because one day I woke up and that scale said, "Girl, you crazy." The scale said,
Mm,
"You's a nut." The scale said, "What is wrong with you?" And I don't
mm,
know what I was doing besides taking care of other people or
mm,
running and trying to um be every woman, and trying to be the hero in my family and trying to be the hero in my friendship circle and trying to be the hero at work and being overtired and not making rested decisions. Because how many of y'all know it's easier to reach for food that does not serve your body well when you're exhausted? It's easier to do that when you're tired, right? Versus what decision you might make when you're rested. Like when I think about the way I eat when I'm the rested me versus the way I
mm.
eat when I'm the exhausted me or the way
Right.
I used to eat, those are two different things. Not to mention whether or not I was exercising or whether or not I was going to get my checkups or whether or not I was sleeping well, like all those kinds of things. So for me, the wake up call was in just being morbidly obese and like, this is not the way you're supposed to live. And then I think I definitely, when I got pregnant, I definitely was willing to do things differently during that pregnancy and had made a decision for how I was going to live as a new mom as well. So I closed my caseload, my clinical caseload, at about the 6 month point in my pregnancy. And let me tell you something. During my pregnancy, I think I had a nap every day.
Yeah,
And
you it was super intentional, super intentional.
mhm,
And I think what I enjoy probably in the last, Imma say 2 years of this process watching from the outside for you is, it's the permission that you give yourself to live this way. And I think a lot of people are still, like, subconsciously waiting for
mm,
permission, right? Like,
mm,
they're just like, because if you grew up in certain communities, sitting down was seen as lazy.
yes,
Sitting
it was.
and I'm not gonna go back, y'all. I'm not gonna go back to where that comes from, okay?
You're not gonna go back there?
Imma hold it in.
You're not gonna drop
Um,
one nugget on it.
Imma hold it in. I'm just gonna say that for a lot of us, we have internalized the narrative, the story, and the lie that
Ooh,
rest is immoral, unholy, um, out of alignment with our culture and our values.
that's a big one. That is a real big one right there.
So, this idea of you giving yourself permission to rest, and you told the story on, I think you told the story on the podcast before about,
What? What? Oh,
I think you
Lord.
told the story on the podcast before about sitting on the deck and being mad, thinking
Oh, yeah.
about,
That happened.
if you
Yeah.
haven't heard this episode, I wish I could even pinpoint which episode it was in, y'all. But there was a
Yeah.
moment where I don't know where I was, but I think you were calling. You're like, do you know that slaves used to work in this? It was like in the middle of the summer or something, and she just had this awareness of how
Mhm.
our ancestors were not allowed to rest, and it was more like almost like a rhema word because in that moment you were exhausted, and
Mhm.
giving yourself permission to rest and realizing that, like, you mean to tell me they used to have a baby on their hip, a baby in their belly, picking some cotton and in this temperature?
Yep. It was
So,
like summer day, and I was at the, probably 3rd trimester of my pregnancy, hot summer day, sitting on the deck, and I was like, "My people worked like this, in this, and for low wages or none?"
Oh, none. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so the idea of that, like, even if we're not consciously saying that, it's in here.
Right.
And so that can make it so that you don't want to rest or that you feel uncomfortable at rest.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are like, "Well, I'm not tired," or or "I can't settle." Like people who have anxiety, a lot of times they're like, "Why can't you rest?" Because their mind is still running. Their nervous system is still running. So when we think about this idea of rest, being a rested woman,
Mhm.
understand that we currently live in a society where they do not want women to rest.
Right. And we have to push back against that. We have to be the resistance for that, um, in each of our individual lives, finding the ways to resist this culture of burnout, this
Yes.
culture of overdoing. It used to be that hustle was the flex. I can't tell you how many times I saw those signs in people's houses that said hustle and grind, and
And
I
that's
forget
anytime
where.
she see it, y'all, I want you to know that's the voice that she slip into. Anytime
What?
she see the word hustle, it's gonna co if she's gonna read the word hustle, she's gonna say it in that voice right there.
Well, I'm just saying that it was not okay. I don't think it's okay. Like, and let us also say this. I am not opposed to hard work, for lack
Right.
of a better term,
Diligent work.
consistency,
Yeah.
diligent consistency. And also I'm very aware that there are certain seasons of building versus seasons, or like seasons of planting versus seasons of reaping. So that's not lost on me. But what I'm talking about again is a culture
Right.
of that, of not having permission as a part of the culture to stop and pause and rest. And again, hustle used to be the flex, but I think the hustle is the liability, because
My God.
the way we make decisions when we hustling. I want you to think about the decision that you make when you're rushing versus the decision that you make when you're rested.
Think about it.
What does that look like? I think that's a more expensive decision. I think
Yep.
it sometimes is a people pleasing decision. Like, let me just do this and get this off of me.
Mm.
Let me just get this off of me. Let me just go ahead and answer their question. Let me just go ahead. I mean, like, so many people are talking about they don't have the capacity for stuff. You don't have the
Oh, that's the new one.
Yeah, because they don't have no boundaries. You don't have the
Right.
capacity because you don't have a boundary. You don't know really well where your capacity lies, and you will not have to fall out of capacity if you have some healthy boundaries and you do your work and your mental regarding where your stopping points are and how your productivity and your worthiness are not connected.
Mm-mm.
Okay?
Well,
Oh, she's sipping tea. She's sipping her tea now because I said that. So here's what we are doing as a culture. And here's the other part of it. Like, it we love all of our listeners, and we don't want to leave anyone out, but we're just talking about our experience. So
right.
as Black women, we are regularly high achievers. The 92 percenters, we are out here the most educated in the room, the most qualified in the room in many cases. And because of that, we are sometimes over functioning. We
Mhm.
are carrying everyone. We are
Mhm.
ignoring our own needs. We are making rushed, people pleasing decisions.
Right.
Right. And so when I said that rested women make richer decisions, I really want to define what that richness is. Like,
Well, let's do it.
I want you to think about like the richness of a cashmere sweater. Is that a
Mhm.
good one? Is that a good one? Or wrapping up in front of your fireplace over Christmas break in your bathrobe and your favorite slippers,
Mhm.
right? Or for those of you who feel like you just love a good rich piece of chocolate cake, or the we coming up on the holidays, like some rich Thanksgiving dressing.
Mhm.
Or if we're talking,
Flavorful.
you said what?
Flavorful, robust.
Flavorful, robust, right? I love this one. Laying on the massage table with my favorite massage therapist and feeling that warmth of the table underneath the blanket.
Mhm.
That's just rich to me. That is rich. And so when I'm talking about rich, I'm talking about decisions that make you feel like that.
Right.
Make you feel like you're on that massage table, on that warm massage table, that you are having that wonderful, flavorful dinner, that you are wrapped up in a blanket in front of your fireplace, that you are on the beach with the sun beating on you and listening to the
Mhm.
ocean waves. Those are the kinds of decisions that you can make when you are rested. The decisions
Right.
about what? Decisions about your finances, decisions about your health, decisions about your relationships, decisions about your future, your work. You can make decisions that help you feel like each of those examples that I gave when you are what? Rest.
Rest. And you've given a clear indication of what's
Uh,
a rich and rested decision. Let's talk about a poor decision.
uh-oh.
Let's talk about a tired decision.
Uh-oh.
Okay. These things sometimes come purely from a place of obligation. I mean, I think
Right.
that's a really, like, if you feel like you are making a decision because you have to or you should, like those words, if you feel like, oh, I would feel guilty if I didn't do this, those kind of decisions are not rich. And I want to make the clear distinction that we're not talking about what's in your bank account today, because you can be making a rich decision if you are sitting on zero. And you can be making a poor decision if your bank account got lots of zeros and some ones in front of them too. So the decision isn't really about what's in your bank account, but it's about like the overall complete quality of your life. So if you're
Right.
making a poor decision, you probably are focusing on reacting,
Mm.
rushing,
Mhm.
not thinking because, oh, everything
Mhm.
is urgent. Oh, everything is an emergency. Rich decisions allow you to consciously make choices, not reactions, right? When you are making poor decisions, you are generally trying to get relief from something. Like, I'm trying to get out of this bad thing, which sometimes does not get you the actual results that you were hoping for. Right. Like the
Right.
goal when I look at women, and sometimes, every now and again, I have clients that come to me that are like, a classic one is they started a private practice on the internet, right? They put up the website, they got the LLC, they got the NPI, but they've really done nothing to actually grow the practice, right?
Right.
So they still work in their job. They're just kind of
Mhm.
hoping at some point they'll get to the place where this private practice is like up and running.
Mhm.
But they're making lots of poor decisions every day because they just are like, I just got to keep the money coming in. I just got to keep my bills paid. I just got to do this. But the rich decision is, okay, I'm doing this from 9 to 5 every day, but from 5 to 6, I'm focusing on what I'm building. And a lot of times we are just focusing on the relief, but not the outcomes that we actually want to have. And then the big one of a poor decision, how you will know whether you're making a poor decision or a rich one, is
Is
it coming from fear?
Oh boy.
Are you afraid that somebody gonna be disappointed? Are you afraid that somebody's gonna judge you? Are you afraid that you gonna not look right or somebody gonna think less of you?
Mm.
Those are all poor decisions. And I'm telling you, when you tired,
Yep. You'd be like, "You know what? Get
listen.
get off of me. Here you go. Take what you want. Get off of me." Mhm. And I
But
think
what we
another
really
part of
want
that.
is for everybody
Oh,
to be thinking about what would it look like to move into richer decisions more consistently.
right. As a way of life. We're talking about a
Yes,
lifestyle. That's why the podcast is called Love You to Life, because we want you to be able to love your life. We are sharing things with you that we hope will help you to love your life. And when you do that, you start to make decisions that become a part of your lifestyle, then that's when you actually can be happy with what you're producing.
absolutely.
Right? So, you'll know if you are, making decisions that are rested, if they line up with your values,
Mhm.
if they feel, like even aligned with the direction that you're going in personally.
Right.
So, can let's think of an example of one of those. Okay, let's say you are the person who is really concerned about a relative with a substance use or abuse issue, and you're saying like, hey, this person needs treatment. This person needs to have an intervention. This person does not just need this substance that they're having this issue with, and so you choose, or you're trying to decide whether or not you're going to give this person money when you know
Mhm.
it may be used in this way. So does that line up with your values? Is that in alignment with the direction that you're going in? That's how you can know if you're making decisions that are based in you being from your rested, and we can also add this word. I like this word too, rooted.
Mhm.
Your
Mhm.
rested and your rooted self,
Right.
right? So when we think about being rooted, like being stable, right? Not reactionary. Not and also being emotionally intelligent. Is that
Right.
something that we need to define for our audience? The emotional intelligence is like being able to check in with yourself and also hold room for your ability to check in with someone else. So I can
Right.
be understanding of me and be empathic of you at the same time to figure out where my decision making needs to meet between those two. But guess what? Many of us who are the ones who are making those rushed decisions, we're
Mhm.
not ever checking in with ourselves.
Right. Right.
We're not ever checking in with ourselves. So, what we're talking about here is increasing your own self awareness, being able to make decisions from the part of you that is healthy and whole and rooted, and reaping the benefits of that. And so, sometimes that is going to be financial.
Mhm.
Nick, you have an example of
Yeah,
that?
so I was when you said that, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking about the conscious decision and how sometimes these decisions like build upon each other, right? So when you're talking about an alignment with values. So there was a period of time where for the practice, right, the private practice that we're in, there was like we just kind of patched together the front office work. So we might have somebody doing this, somebody doing
Mhm,
that. It was very much patched together. But there was a
mhm,
period of time where there was like massive expansion in a very short period of time, and it
right.
was very clear that okay, my energy is really well used over here in the five-figure range and probably not in the two-figure range.
Yeah.
So, is there a way to remove some of these two-figure actions and give more capacity on this side? And the initial investment in getting that support was not free, right? So that was it was an investment. And the decision to make that came down to values. Values number 1, I want all of my clients and potential clients who are calling into the office to get a good answer, to get a quick response, to
Mhm.
get an informed response, to
Yeah.
be in alignment with our requirement that we return calls in 48 hours. Like that is my value as a business owner, right? So you make that decision and it did require you to put some money up front, but when you look at the trajectory of the income behind that, it absolutely opened up the doors for more financial benefit. And sometimes when you are in a hurry, you don't see the full picture of what is the best decision in that moment. You're just like, oh, I just gotta do something fast, right? Or I'm too tired to think about it. That's a big one. I'm too tired to think about what to
Oh,
do.
right.
So I'm either gonna do nothing and be stuck,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna do whatever just seems to be the first answer, and it's not the best decision. So when you talk about making a values-based decision, I don't think you can do that when you're tired. I just think you can. And when I think about like even like as moms, right? There have absolutely been times where I'm like, now I'll say, this is a not this is a conversation for tomorrow because I don't have the energy to have this conversation.
Yep, and
Like
I love that.
I'm spent. My battery is low. I don't wanna say something. I don't wanna I just can't hold space for you right this second. We could talk about it tomorrow. I know I had some of those conversations 10 years ago that I probably was too tired to have and did not have the capacity to say like, "Oh, this wasn't the right decision." So, my value is I want you to understand that I care about what you're saying, but I also have to honor what I have the capacity for in this moment. And I'll come back and we will definitely revisit it in the morning. But I think about how many times as entrepreneurs or wives or mothers or sisters or friends, we have made a decision and then regretted it.
Mm.
And that is still it when we talk about like a rich decision, but some of these poor decisions are super expensive because
I
it's
mean,
very
let's just
expensive to
it's
make
so
a
expensive.
decision that comes back to bite you in the butt.
It's so expensive, and this is why we talked about all fronts, because some of us have made some poor decisions regarding relationships, and
Mm,
we have paid the price. I have looked in some people's eye and they have said back to me, "How did I marry that joker?
Mm.
How was I married to that person?
I'm
How?
looking her in her eyes right now. Y'all can't see that. But anyway,
How? How was I married to that person? How did I do that? Like, how in the world did I take this job when I knew it didn't really give me
right.
what I needed it to give, and I knew that they did not really respect me in the role, or I knew that they how? How did I do that? How did I buy this house that I don't even really
Mm.
like this house? How did I buy this house? Like, so sometimes it really it shows up everywhere.
Right.
It legitimately shows up everywhere on whether or not you are making decisions based out of your values, based out of you being aware of how things affect you and what's important to you, based out of whether or not you are in alignment or out of alignment. Like that really does matter. And
Right.
it does show up everywhere. Because I know some people, listen, I'm gonna have to go ahead. It's coming,
Oh,
I have to say
oh,
it. Some
here
of
she
y'all
go.
got somebody in your bed right now. Put them out.
Oh, she said put him out your
You was
bed
you was
in the
just
wintertime?
You was just tired, a little bit lonely. It was cuffing season, and this person is not the one. Put them out.
Why is she telling y'all that?
Wake
That's
that
so
joker up.
rude.
Wake that joker up, man or woman. I don't know. Men do it too. Women do it too. Wake that joker up. Put them out.
That is so rude.
I'm just telling you. Hey, take somebody off your credit card. Get your credit card back.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Here we go. Whose cell phone you still paying for?
No, you did
Because
not
listen,
say that.
Tamar said it. She
You
said she had been
did
paying for
not say
somebody's credit,
that.
somebody's cell phone. She had been paying for years.
You are not saying that. Some of y'all been paying somebody's cell phone for 10 years at $50 a month. 50 times 12 is 600.
600
50 times 10 years is 6,000.
dollars.
$6,000. What
But
could
guess
you do
what?
with
In
your
the
own
moment,
$6,000?
it was a quick decision, right? It
Mhm.
was easy. You didn't think about it.
We didn't mean to do that. We call this a headlock. We call this a headlock. We do this to each other all the time. And then, if you listen to our podcast episode about the mogul meeting, which was like maybe 2 shows back or something, if you listen to that, Catrice is on there, we say this to each other all the time. Like we call it a headlock because we will have to just stand 10 toes down and say, here's the truth. And sometimes we might drop the truth and run, but the truth is gonna come out. And for those of y'all that know everything on the $5 menu and you're not getting no good sources of protein or fiber, stop it.
Why would she do that?
Because it's the truth. Because it's not a rich decision. Because it's not helping your cardiovascular health. It's not feeding your body so you can live a long life. That's why. And everybody, listen. Don't take one little packet home for Thanksgiving. Don't take
Oh,
one
now
Thanksgiving.
listen. This episode is gonna come out on Thanksgiving.
And
Why
I'm
would you tell
telling
the people
them,
that
and
can't
I'm
take no?
telling them, eat right there and get back on your plan tomorrow of eating some stuff that makes sense. You are not going to be able to eat macaroni and cheese, dressing, chocolate cake, peach cobbler, sweet potato pie for the next month and be happy in January.
I don't know. I didn't tell her to say it. I don't know why she said these things to you.
I just
I
said
don't
it.
know.
I just said it. Here's the thing, all things in moderation. I'm totally telling you to go enjoy your Thanksgiving. But some of y'all are going to try to pack up the stuff from Big Mama house and take home 3 or 4 days worth of more stuff. And some of y'all stomach hurt. Stop playing. Because you
I
know
mean, here's the thing, and here's the thing I think that people really need to understand because sometimes if you've never made a rich decision, right? If you are just like hearing this and you're saying, like, okay, I don't know if I made no rich decision, it might feel like super uncomfortable to even think about. And your brain, which is designed to keep you safe, not happy,
Mhm,
okay?
mhm,
It might be
mhm.
saying, like, ooh, how dare she? Ooh. But here's the truth. Once you get on the other side of it,
Yeah,
it makes so much more sense. I just had my birthday the week
like,
before we were recording this,
yeah,
and I have up the month between my baby niece's birthday and my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna just go do keto for about a month and just kind of, do a little reset, right?
yeah.
And I tell you that I ate some cheesecake, and I've had cheesecake on my birthday for probably 8 or
Years.
10 years.
Yep.
I couldn't get through the cheesecake because
Mm.
your set point shifts
Your
when you
simple.
start to make different decisions. So
Mhm.
some of these things that we're saying might be sounding like, "Ooh, that sounds crazy." But as you start walking towards richer decisions, like there's levels to this. So like your first level might be, okay, I'm giving them 60 days to get off my cell phone plan. Your next level might be, I'm giving him 6 weeks to get out of my house, right? Like you might have to do some levels to this, but the closer you start getting to rich decisions for
Right.
you, the easier it becomes. The more it feels like, oh, this is right. It feels so good in your body when you make richer decisions. So we're not
Mhm.
just telling when we tell y'all stuff on the podcast. First of all, first thing you gotta remember, most of the stuff we're telling y'all, we
We already
did.
lived it. We already lived it. That's why we not the ones who don't
So
walk
these
the
examples are not we're not pulling examples from, like, the sky. We're pulling
walk.
examples from our
Already lived it. Already
actual
been
life.
it.
But it's also these are processes that we are continually going through, and you go through it like we always talk about, like, the spiral of healing. You go through it at this level, and then when you get a little bit more, you're gonna go through it again. And so it's a different vibe, but it's this like a similar thing that you're just continuing to level up. And so you just want to keep getting richer and richer and richer with your choices and your decisions because it makes your life feel better.
Right. And so on that note, I want to give them some examples, real life application of what rich decisions can look like. Just a few
Okay.
more. So it could mean saying no without feeling guilty.
Hmm.
Some of us are gonna say no, but then we're gonna rock like Miss Sophia for the next 3 or 4 hours because we are fearful about that person being disappointed or about that person, feelings being hurt or something like that. So, saying no without guilt. It can also look like leaving a draining client or a draining contract or a draining job, a job that is taking more from you than it's giving to you. And that doesn't mean walk around unemployed, not being able to pay your bills necessarily, but it
Right,
does mean make your plan and work your plan so that you can
right,
be found in a different situation soon, right?
right.
It could mean choosing a slower morning routine. You
Mm.
start your morning. Some of us are running out the house, and I said this in when we had our Love You to Life Club. When we had our Love You to Life Club, I said people run outside emotionally naked. They're running outside. Remember when I said that?
I
Don't
don't, but I'm sure you did, but no, I don't.
like, for me, a morning routine is like dressing the emotional part of me to go outside for the day. So,
Mhm.
yes, we understand putting on our physical clothes to go outside. We would never do that. We would never go outside naked, like without our clothes on. And so, to me, your morning routine is very similar to that. It is the
Right.
emotional part of you, it is the spiritual part of you that is putting on its dressing to go out into this world to face whatever that day is going to give you. And so some of us need a slower morning routine. So you might be saying, well, Liz, but these kids in the morning, it's nutsy bobo around here in the morning. And
Mhm.
that may be the case, but maybe you can find 10 minutes. Maybe you
Right.
can find 5 minutes to just slow it down somewhere on the front end before the kids get up or on the back end after you get them done so that you can have that slower morning routine. It could also look like this one you're going to really like, Calvin. It can look like investing in coaching. It can
Mhm.
look like having someone who's gonna come alongside you on this journey of life and help you and mentor you and support you. And here's the thing, I stand 10 toes down on it. Y'all know I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm a board certified life coach as well. I do not subscribe to just everybody calling themselves a coach. Some people out here, they just
Mm.
gonna talk to you from their opinion. They don't have the training and they don't have the experience. So if you're gonna have a coach, get you somebody that actually has the training. Don't just get you an influencer that's charging $500 an hour because they
Mm.
doing that. You know they out here doing that,
I
Cal.
know they doing it. I know they
They
doing it.
out here doing that. Just because they live through something, they think they can help you get through something. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So I want you to build a life you love instead of that life just looking good on paper. We want you to actually feel like you're enjoying it every single day. Because what? Rested women make richer decisions. I
And
said,
do,
I said what
and do.
I said what I said.
Oh, she's doing the finger thing again, guys. She's
What?
doing it.
I might be an auntie, but I know what this means.
Oh, listen here.
I know what this means. Okay, y'all gotta watch this on YouTube so y'all can see what I'm doing. I gotta watch it on YouTube. Yeah, I gotta watch it on YouTube. If
Yeah.
it's one thing about me, I'm a clown. If it's one thing about me, I'm going to clown. I'm going to laugh because it's important. Laughter is medicine, and sometimes we're talking about topics that can be a little bit heavy sometimes, and it's okay to laugh at yourself. The end. Next.
Okay, so let's give you a little bit of a framework. We want to give you a little bit of a framework to make sure that you're actually making rich decisions, okay? And
Okay.
understand guys, anything that we're talking about on the podcast, we're always talking about the fact that we know that this is a work in progress. So
And it's
you might not be making rich decisions today, but you can make a richer decision today, right? So where and your season of life matters and your circumstances matter. And sometimes you are still dealing with the remnants of some poor decisions. So you
mm,
are, you got to do what you got to do. So
yep,
if we're going to start, first thing we want you to start with, am I making this decision from a place of rest, right? Am and would the most rested version of me say yes to this? This is one of these things where it's really about like creating your identity. And I think probably our next episode we'll talk a little bit about more about this. Like we really want you to start to create an identity for yourself
right.
that you are becoming
Hmm.
and not spend so much of your time doing things today because of obligation to your past. Like if you're continually improving, like if you say like I want to make a rich decision, if I was as rested as possible, if I had slept good last night, what decision would I make right now? And
Hmm.
try to make that decision. So it's going to be clearer. It's going to be more selective. It's going to be more intentional, right? So are you making decisions from a rested place? That's the first version of being in a rich decision state.
Right. And you want me to
Next,
do okay.
are you making a decision that is inspired? Like, here's the thing, how many times do you actually allow yourself to be inspired? Like, I think people are so used to making reactionary decisions to external stuff that they don't even know when they feel inspired. Like, when do you
Mm,
actually feel inspired?
mm,
An
mm.
inspired decision is so much more in alignment with your future self. It's so much more healthy, it's so much more fulfilling. Like when I see people, I'm like, why did you do that? I'm like, sometimes I'm like, where did that come from?
Right.
It did not come from a place of inspiration. And so when you're really thinking about making an inspired decision, it's reconnecting with that part of you that is closest to God.
Mm,
God is a God of creation.
mhm.
He created the world. Creation is our birthright. So if you are only making your decisions in reaction to what other people did, you are not making your decisions and connected to what God is bringing through you.
That's not good. That you stepping on toes there.
Here's the thing, you cannot lean into like you won't be able to get to a place of trusting your intuition if you never follow the inspiration, and you can't follow the inspiration until you stop allowing other people's ideas, beliefs, thoughts, fears, expectations to dictate your actions.
Woo. That was a mouthful right there, y'all. We coulda just she coulda just put that on, TikTok and went viral. That was a mouthful.
I was one of our former members in the Love You to Life Club
Okay.
tagged me in a post this morning.
Okay, you didn't tell me this. What happened?
I went back and tagged you. You'll see it when you go back on there. And she was like, because I made a little post and I said, what are you loving about your business right now? Because we always talk about like, oh, it's so hard to be an entrepreneur, and it is challenging, right? But I was like, what do you love about your business right now? Because when I'm talking to clients, a lot of times I want them to understand like the part of your business that you really love, the things that you love about your business, you might want to lean into those. Like if you really love doing, speaking engagements, you might want to lean into that a little bit, right? So I'm always like encouraging them to consider like what are some of those things that you really are loving about your business right now. And so one of our former members was like, I really am loving the fact that I'm doing things that are combining two of my passions, my creativity and
That's
teaching, and
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of good results from that. And I'm showing up more because the fact that I enjoy this thing and it feels good and it's working, it's making it easier for me to show up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, those are rich decisions, right? The rich decision to promote that. And so she was inspired in those actions and she's feeling more confident in her decisions. Before, she said what she had been doing was letting everybody else's opinion dictate what she did.
Ugh, goodness gracious.
So if somebody else is like, "Ooh, I don't know if that'll work. Ooh, I don't know," she wouldn't do it.
Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, that's how they said it? See
I
there?
mean,
See, I was
sometimes
talking
I
about me sliding into a voice, but you just did that right there. You just did that. Whoever
here's the
her
thing.
you slid
Imma
into.
say this and Imma back away from it, and you could do the next 2 points on the framework. Imma say this.
Okay.
Stop letting uninspired people take your inspiration.
What?
If you talking to somebody who ain't made an original decision in this decade, don't let them say nothing to you about yours.
Tenderism.
Oh my god. I'm
Tenderism.
just saying, like, sometimes people who are telling you that could never work. Well, have you tried it? Did you
No.
try it and it failed? Like, how do you know?
No. Listen, you know I swear by this. Just because you can't do it don't mean I can't. Just because you don't have the faith for it, the fortitude for it, the desire for it, the plan for it, just because you can't do it, don't mean I can't. I can do a whole lot of stuff other folks cannot do. Not because I'm smarter, not because I'm have more money, not because I am prettier, not because I'm blacker, not because I'm nothing. I just was trying to go through my stuff.
And if I'm
What?
not black enough?
I'm just saying, it's because I am willing to do the things I want to do. That's it.
Right. Right.
That's it. So just because you can't do it does not mean that I can't do it. All right. So we have, are you making decisions from a rested state? Are you making decisions that inspire you? The next one is confidence. Are you making a decision from a place of confidence? Because confidence and clarity go together. When you are exhausted, you are not clear. Y'all know that. When you tired, you don't make decisions well. Are you confident? Do you feel strong about this decision? Not like something that you're just doing because you're on autopilot. Are you confident when you are making this choice? And then the last one is healed. Does the healed version of you want to do this thing? Is the
Mm.
healed version of you saying, yes, go ahead, proceed, sister, proceed, brother? Is the healed version of you doing that? Or is it the part of you that's not healed that's telling you, yes, go ahead and keep them on your cell phone? Yes, let them move into your house and don't pay you rent. Yes, keep on letting her in your bed when you know she ain't no good. Yes, keep on overeating and don't ever go work out. Yeah, is this the healed version of you or the hurt version of you that's making these calls?
Woo!
If you want to make rich decisions are rested, inspired, confident, and healed. We can end on that.
Mm.
We can end on that.
Here's
So
the
I just
thing.
want
It's
what?
sometimes you don't you and I have literally, y'all, and I want you to know what this looks like in real life. I have literally had a decision, like an option presented to me, and the question I'm asking myself is, where is the yes coming from, and where is the no coming from? Because sometimes you won't know.
Good
And
question.
that when we talk about like coaching and therapy, sometimes those are the spaces where you can talk those things out so that you can figure out, because sometimes you won't really know where the yes is coming from. And sometimes the yes can be coming from a good place and sometimes the no can be coming from a good place. So you need to really get clear about that. And I have had opportunities where I'm like, I don't know which version of me is saying I should be doing this. Is it the part of me that's just trying to avoid somebody else being mad? Or is it the part of me that really is saying like, yes, this is what I would, like, and so we sometimes will use the language like, is future me saying yes or is this past me saying it or what have you?
Right.
But the idea is the healed version of me or the healing, right? It might be a work in progress. Sometimes I see people, and I see this on social media a lot, where I'm like, you need to do this in the dark. You need to do this. You're not healed yet. You're
Oh,
being a little too vulnerable with your healing journey because you're presenting this as it's a fact and it is your current experience. And that's why I hear in other countries they're not letting people talk about certain things if they don't have no degree
They
behind it.
said
But
shut it down. They said shut it down.
because sometimes people stand 10 toes down on something like it's reality when it's just their experience. This is not the healed version of you that is saying this, and you presenting it like it is fact. It is not fact. It is your experience. It is your feelings, which are valid, but it is not fact. So when you are presenting something, recognize where you are in that healing journey. Like, are you like, hey, I'm still real raw. I'm not ready for this part. Or, no, I feel really good about this decision and it's in alignment with my values and it is, the future version of me. This is what I want to do. Right. So it's that piece of the puzzle. And I think a lot of times that can't be done in a split second.
Right.
That requires you to pause and really work through that. And it does become easier. Like, I think it becomes easier the more you do it. It becomes like a muscle, right? Your muscle gains the memory of like, "Ooh, no, I'm not gonna do this," or whatever. But I think a lot of people miss that part of it.
Mhm. And I wanna just add one more point for high profile people. So if you're in a position of leadership, whether that's because you own a business or because you are in public service or professional athlete, whatever, just because you're in that role does not mean you have to do things before you are healed either. So many times the expectation is that those people in those leadership roles and have to come out and help other folks before they get a chance to help themselves. And so I just want to give whole space for people in those positions, whether you the manager, whether you in the C-suite, whether you the mayor, whether you the professional athlete, whether you're an actress, like people that are in high profile positions in your communities, you also have the right to heal and make decisions from a place of healing before you show yourself. When you talked about do it in the dark, you too vulnerable to put this out right now, that really is okay. So we are asking you to take good care of yourselves. We are asking you to take as good a care of yourselves as you do for other people. And I know y'all take great care of other people. So please
Period.
take good care of yourself. So here's one of the things you can do. You can before your next big decision, you can pause. You can say, you know what, I need 30 minutes to go and think about this and ask myself some questions about how I'm making this decision. Am I rested enough to make this decision today? Do I need to ask, let me make this decision tomorrow? Right? So, am I rested? Am I inspired? Am I confident? Am I making this choice from my healed space and not my hurt space? That's how you know if you are making rich decisions. All right. Now, please follow us on all social media platforms. If y'all we drop little nuggets all the time. You don't have to wait to just every other week for the podcast. We got little nuggets out all the time.
All
So
the time.
so I'm at Loving Life with Liz and Cal is
At Kaplan.
at Calvalyn. Go ahead and follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, so that we can be dropping these nuggets to you all the time. And we might have a tree coming out for y'all in at the top of the year. We might. I don't know
And
what the
here's the other thing I want y'all to know. If you're on social media
Yeah,
and you think that there's something we need to bring to the podcast,
please tell us.
tag
Please,
one of us and be like, girl, y'all need to talk about this on the podcast
please tell
because
us.
we absolutely want this to be responsive to what's going on in your real life and what we're seeing. And I think that's the benefit of having like a community, right? Of people who are actually communicating with each other. So definitely let us know if there's something specific you want us to cover. But as we wrap up, I want y'all to be real crystal clear. Rest is not a privilege.
Nope.
Rest is not a reward. You
Nope.
get to have it no matter what.
Yep.
You don't have to earn it.
Nope.
It is a strategy.
Yeah.
And rested women think clearly, they choose wisely, they make richer decisions. And even if every member of the patriarchy wants to prevent you from doing that, you still have the complete autonomy over yourself to make a richer decision today than you made yesterday on
That's
your
it.
way to becoming a woman who can make rich decisions every day and all day long. So we want to thank y'all for joining us for this episode of the Love You to Life podcast. We come back every other week. If you want to see all these ridiculous hand gestures that happened while we were recording, you need to make sure you are following us on YouTube and get those YouTubes that come out on our alternating weeks, and all throughout the week, you will see clips on across our social media about what's on the upcoming podcast or what was on the previous podcast. So please like, subscribe, and share so that lots of people can get in on loving their life just like we love y'all.
We love y'all. See you next time.
Bye-bye.